I finished rereading Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn and whoa, just whoa. First of all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Fernanda and I'm here to talk about books. And I'm so sorry if you can hear all this noise, but there's some people building something in my neighborhood, and I don't know, they are there every day, and like if I wait for them to finish the building, it would take ages for me to record. So I just decided that, well, I have to do it. So here I am, and I'm sorry. And before I start and go for my deep thoughts on my rereading of Gone Girl, I must warn you that this will be a very talking to a friend style of review, and I'm not going to spare the spoilers, okay? I'm here to talk about the juicy things, so I'm going to say spoilers. And so please, if you never read or never watched Gone Girl, but especially if you never read Gone Girl, please do not watch this video. Go to another video of my channel, but not this one. And please go read Gone Girl, because this book is absolutely fantastic. So you were warned. I think we are agreed with each other. So now let's start. So I first read Gone Girl in, I think was 2013 or 2014, and I instantly thought that this was the best book I ever had. Now that I reread it after like 12 years, I realized that I still think it's the best book I ever had. I was so afraid of being disappointed, of reading it and not liking or not enjoying as much as the first time, but that fear has already passed within the first pages of the book, because I was already loving it again. It was so delicious, and I started noticing things that I didn't in the first time, and that those are the things that I want to talk with you. I just felt that I could get a better understanding, a better picture of the characters, their personalities, their complexities, their attitudes than the first time, because during the first time I was so entertained and so focused on the mystery, on trying to solve the mystery, trying to think and feel if Nick was really guilty about the kidnapping and possibly murder of Amy, or if he didn't, then who did it, and also about their relationship, about the everything that Amy says on her diary, and we get a good view on what their relationship was about, how their relationship was. And I was so entertained by that I didn't realize how much deep this could go, how much deep their relationship, the details of their dynamic during the relationship could go. And this time that I already knew everything what happened, I could focus on other things, and my brain just started to focus on their dynamics with each other. And brilliant. So now let's go for the details, right? This time I was putting up some post-its and annotating all my feelings and thoughts, and I later I annotated everything on my Notion, and where I usually do the scripts of the videos and etc. And so I'm going to like go back and read, because I precisely take notes on some pages, so I transcribed those pages to the Notion. So I'm going to, look there to the to my notebook and then look back to the camera. So just for you to understand why I'm doing like that with my face, okay? So the first thing that I realized about their dynamic was on page 56 and 57. Actually, it's when Nick is talking with the police and they are starting to interrogate him. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, but their childhood, Nick's and Amy's childhood, despite being completely different, made them both people pleasers as an adult. During page 56 and 57, I think it's Nick's point of view, if I remember well, because he's talking to the police. and he tells the police, he tells the police like, my wife, it was amazing, we were fine, she had no friends in the city, there was just the two of us, and etc. But in his thoughts, he started to say bad things about her and start to judge her, and he started to tell us how she was not that perfect as he thought she was in the first time they met and during the first years of relationship and marriage. But when we get to Emmy's point of view on her diary, even the first pages of her diary, we already start to see that she was also not pleased with him. She was also thinking that he became a different person after some years of relationship, and they both get this bad image of each other, and they both think they are people pleaser, or like they have the need to get people's attention, but they do that in a different way. So for example, for me, Nick thinks that like Nick sees Emmy as someone who needs attention all the time. If she's not the center of the attention, or the center of the word, the center of the subject in any matter, so like she's pissed, she wants to be the superior, cool, the New York girl, and etc. And in Emmy's views, Nick has always to be the good man. From her perspective, he's terrified of being criticized or doing something that makes people think that he's a bad person. So like he's this people pleaser in this kind of way, he's kind of seeking attention in a certain way, but not to be like the superior or anything, just because he needs to know that people think he's a good person. So like he's always seeking the approval of everyone. And the cool thing is that I think these versions that they have of each other, they are right. they both think bad things about each other, but they are right. Because if you think about it, Nick, he is the apathetic person who is not interested, or at least is not interested anymore in his wife's life. He is exactly like he was during the interrogation time. He's completely numb. Throughout the book we see that he is really desperate to get the approval of everyone, to look like the good guy, to look like the hero. He mentions a lot that he wanted to be the hero of M's story. So she's right, and he's not wrong about her as well. Like, she is that person who seeks everyone's attention. She is that person who wants to be the superior, who wants to be the cooler, who wants to get everyone revolving around her. Is who she is. And so yeah, like while I was reading them this time, I was reading with this point of view, like, guys, you know each other very well. Like, even though you seem very distant with each other, you still know each other very well, because you guys are not lying. Your judgments are completely right. And also, she deep down, from the things she described on her diary, from the posts that she makes on her diary, like, it's all extremely calculated to seem like the nice girl to him, to be the perfect woman to him, the perfect wife. So you see that is a way of being a people pleaser. And then we come to another part of her diary on page 68, and the note that I took, it's really the end of the chapter, and it's about a dinner that she's having with her friends, and all the husbands were invited. And at the end of the night, some of the husbands appear, and they were like not happy to be there. And she was saying like, and Nick doesn't appear. Nick doesn't go. And she was like, but you know what? It's okay, because me and Nick, we always talked about how we are not this type of couple that force the other to do what they want, and they are free to do whatever they want, and they even call those husbands as trained monkeys, because they always do what the wives want, and they always, for doing that, they keep getting resentment with each other. So they kind of agree, like, we are not going to be this kind of couple. But deep down, guys, deep down, we know. I'm sorry, the sun is disappearing all the time. So deep down, we know that she wanted to be the trained monkey. She wanted him to appear on the dinner. And for me, I think that is exactly the point where things start to fall apart. Like, he wasn't her trained monkey. And being the spin-off, the cool couple, and being a very free couple, it was not going to last long. Especially because of their personalities. Or especially even because of her personality. Because she is a very controlling person who need him to give her attention. And he was not playing his part anymore. And things got worse when he lost his job. So she started to be the mad woman, No one likes a mad woman. What a shame she went mad. You made her like that. Taylor Swift always has a song about everything. So like, she started to be the mad woman. And that was totally bad for him. Because he wants what? He wants to be the hero. He wants to be the good guy. So when she starts to be the mad woman, and she starts to blame him for a lot of things, she starts to see him not as a good husband, and she stops to appreciate the things he does for her or for them. So I truly believe that was the turning point that changed everything. The turning point that happened in their marriage. They just one day realized that they could not be the cool couple anymore. Oh, and I was really mad at Nick. And like, I don't remember being so mad at him in the first time that I read. But again, I believe I was too focused on the mystery that I didn't stop to be angry with him enough. But now that I have free time on my brain and free space on my brain to focus my rage on him, guys. Jesus Christ, what a nasty man, unbearable, a jerk. How I hated him this entire book. No, not entire book, but like for 92% of the book, I hated him so much. He got tired of the marriage, okay, in my opinion. His life changed after he lost the job. He became completely bitter about life. So he started to see Amy as the villain. And in fact, he transferred his anger to her, because in his point of view, she was the rich woman that always get everything she wanted, while he was the unemployed man who could not support their house anymore. So that was it. So he started to transfer his anger to her, and he became this completely unbearable person. So like, the first time that I read it, I finished the book already liking Amy more than Nick. Obviously, Amy is a queen, and everything she done to him was completely well deserved. But now I'm sorry, but I am 1000% Amy. Amy is a diva. She's a queen. She's just misunderstood. All right. But she's amazing. And arriving almost at the end, I was like, okay, these two are crazy. Okay, these two are completely crazy. But I'm the craziest of them all. And look, getting over Amy is difficult, okay, because she is the craziest. But I think I'm the craziest of them all. Because as I just said, Amy is amazing, and I will always defend her. But when we goes to almost the end, basically on part 3, like end of part, like the last pages of part 2 and go to part 3, or if you can say even a bit before, I started to think Nick was a bit interesting. Jesus Christ. I can't believe that I'm saying this. But like, there's something about this man after he realized that she was playing on him that I don't know. And okay, I'm going to make it very clear. Okay, he doesn't attract me at all. Okay, he doesn't attract me as a man, as a husband, as a boyfriend, whatever. But as a character, he started to become very, not very interesting, but he started to become a bit interesting. And that's just because he's trying to be smarter than Emmy. He's trying to play her game. And then I realized that maybe I didn't remember all the anger that I felt for him. Exactly because at the end, I thought he was interesting, you know? You know, like when he started saying like, I'm going to give you what you deserve. And he started to mentally curse her and play her game and trying to be ahead of her all the time. And he even started to make her look like a fool, at least a bit. Because she's watching everything that he's doing with the interviews and etc. and the investigation. And she's falling for him again. She's falling for the old wives' tales that my husband is in love with me again. And I'm falling for it too because he's starting to be a smart guy instead of being just the dumb idiot that he usually is. But now let's go to the finally end of Gone Girl. And I have to say that I loved it. I continued loving it after all these years. It was magical to read it again. Like, if we go deeper on these, Nick is getting interesting at the end of the book. I realized that I was kind of as crazy as Emmy because like we were she was falling in his tale and I was falling as well. I mean, obviously we had his point of view and we know that he's playing with her. We know that he started to hate her in a certain level, to despite her in a certain level. So and he's just doing it to try to prove his innocence. But this new guy that he became, he's nice, he's cool. Not nice, but he's cool. So like I was falling for it as well. And Amy came back because of that, because she thought that he's cool. She thought that this man is the man that she wants to be a wife, because he started to challenge her. And even though like theoretically she doesn't like to be challenged, in a certain level, in a way that she needs him to be fighting for her all the time. She needs to be fighting for their relationship. This is also challenge her. Fighting for them also means that sometimes he will not agree with everything she does. Now let's talk about the child. The child trope, okay? The child that will save the marriage trope. I don't like it in real life, neither in real life nor in books. But at the same level, I think for them it makes sense, like for their dynamic, those type of manipulation makes sense. So I was like, I do remember actually that there was going to be a baby, and I was like, wow, she really did it. And at the same time I was like, why you have to do this? But also, you know, makes sense. It's Amy. And about her reappearing, I remember that the first time I read, I was like, oh my god, Amy, you are a queen, the woman that you are. But now I thought she was completely crazy. Like, guys, the story that she tells, I mean, everything makes sense because she's brilliant and she does it in a very perfect way. But like when I started reading her talk with the police about what happened to her, I was like, there's no way they're going to fall for it. But they did. And I was like, okay, fine. But in fact, I mean, one of the police officers, the woman, I don't remember, I think it's Bonnie, the name, she didn't fall for it. And I think, okay, finally at least one person with a good sense. Because like until she reappears, everything was incriminating Nick. And after she reappears, like, it was all a huge coincidence that all the places, all the proofs, all the things that was incriminating Nick could also incriminate the guy who supposedly kidnapped her, that we know that he didn't, but yeah. So, like, girl, like, how? There's no such coincidence like that. And the thing that got me the most was, like, the FBI was involved at the end. And, I mean, the FBI... I mean, I don't live in New York, in United States, okay? I just know the FBI for what I see on series and movies. But, like, I know it's common only. It's a common knowledge that the FBI is, like, very experts on a lot of criminal subjects. And they deal with the most crazy and strange and complicated things about crimes, right? I mean, I watch it. Criminal Minds. I know a bit. So, like, the FBI was involved, and they didn't suspect anything about her story. That was suspicious. So, like, I think at the same time that it makes sense that she did in a very perfect way. And here I talk about Emmy, and I talk about Gillian Flynn. She did in a very perfect way. Everything that Emmy did, but at the same time, this rereading felt like everything was kind of easily solved, just to make easy for the main character get rid with their stuff. So yeah, like, I'm not judging her, because for me, Gillian Flynn is a queen, such as Amy. And I would easily build an altar for her. But yeah, that's just a little thing, like, it's the FBI. They deal with a lot of stuff. They know more than a common small town policeman force, and they didn't suspect anything. So yeah, I don't know. I have 2 more things to comment that I marked on my book, and it's about a dialogue on page 423. So, like, I'm kind of reading, and I'm going to tell you. So he's saying that they need to separate, and, like, there's they cannot be together anymore. She needs to ask for the divorce, or I don't know. They need to do something. They can't be together anymore. And she says, no, we are perfect for each other, and etc, etc. And I'm like, God. What a crazy woman. But in this conversation, that was brilliant. That was, oh God, how I love reading. So this conversation, she made him realize that actually he doesn't know who he would be without her, because deep down he also, as me and Emmy, he also likes this new guy that he became because of her. And I think that this book is so good, not only because of the mystery, but because exactly because about the dynamic and the toxic relationship that Nikki and Emmy has, because she brings the toxic relationship to a new point, to a different point at least. Because what we usually see in toxic relationships, whatever is in our personal lives or in books, TV series, movies, whatever, is that there is this person who diminished the other to a point of fitting this person into a place where they need this person to be, okay, to fit in. And here she did the opposite. Like, in a certain way, yes, she makes Emmy create Nick and put him in a certain place, to fit in a certain place, in a certain way that she needed him to be. But she doesn't that diminishing him. Quite the opposite. She does that making Nick feel like the guy he wanted to be. because he wanted to be the hero, he wanted to be the good guy, he wanted to be this person who everyone was proud of. And who he wanted to be happened to be the exactly same person who she wanted him to be. So she starts to play him until he starts to act as this extremely romantic, very amazing husband and everything else. And this is the guy he wants to be, because he wants to be special, he wants to feel special and whatever, and he's addicted to that. So it's a toxic relationship, if not because all of the rest of the book, but also because of their dynamic, also because of Amy's manipulation towards Nick, and he likes it. It's toxic not only because she manipulates him, but it's toxic because he likes to be manipulated by her in a certain way. And I find that really interesting to see in a book. And the second thing is another kind of conversation that they have, and it's on the last page of the book. And like during this conversation, Amy says, I'm going to read, and I don't get the original book in English. My version is in Portuguese, so I kind of translated from my mind what she said. So like what I'm going to read here may not be the exact same words that it's on the original book. Okay, so they are talking about this, about how Amy makes him be the guy he wants to be. And in this dialogue, oh my god, I think she was like, I loved her in this dialogue because, oh god, I have no words for her. Anyway, so she says like, think Nick, you know I'm right. Even if you find a nice girl, normal, even if you find a nice and normal girl, you still think about me every day. Say that you don't. And he said, I wouldn't. And then she goes, how quickly you forgot about little Andy. Soon as you thought that I was in love with you again. A love note, honey. It took a love note to 2 notes where I swear loving you and want you back. And I thought you, after all, were simply great. It took just that. You're funny. You're warm. You're brilliant. You're so pathetic. Do you think one day you are going to be a normal man again? You will find a good girl and you still think about me. And you will be totally dissatisfied, stuck in your tedious and normal life, with your common life and your 2 mediocre kids. That's hard to speak. You think about me. And then you look at your wife and think, dumb bitch. And then they keep talking. And then here she marks, I'm the bitch that makes you better, Nick. I'm the bitch that makes you a man. Fuck it, that's it. You know, guys, that's it. Here, she basically summarized the entire book with just this phrase. I'm the bitch that make you a man. And that's it. That's true. You know, that's so true. And that's why he became so interesting. And that's why he became so interesting, from my point of view, obviously, after he discovers everything. Because she really made him an interesting man. So, like, wonderful. And then the last thing that I need to mention is about basically the last page of the book. But like everything is I think like, okay, this is perfection, pure perfection. But also there was this deep thought in my mind that was like, she's making it being too easy for them, you know, because they start to live this life pretending that they were a happy couple and they were going to have a child, and Nick was going to be the perfect father for this kid, and as long as they were pretending, everything was going to be okay, even if deep down they wanted to kill each other. But like, they are a very toxic and chaotic couple. We know that since the beginning, and she making it feel like it's going to be, as long as they pretend everything is going to be good, and those chaotic side of them was not going to appear anymore. I was like, I don't know if I like it. I need to be sure that they were going to be miserable for the rest of their lives. And so she did it, like in the last page, and they are talking, and then I'm going to read again. Then she says like, oh my god, Nick, why were you being so wonderful with me? And it's her point of view, okay. She's writing her diary again, and she says, he should have said, you deserve, I love you. But then he said, because I feel sorry for you. And then she asks, why? And then he answers, because every morning you have to wake up and you have to be you. Nick, you had me there. You just had me there. And then she continues, and there's the last phrase of her led me thinking a lot, because she says, I really, truly, like he didn't have said that. I keep thinking, I can't stop. I have no words to add. I just wanted to be sure that I had the last word. I think I deserved it. And then I was like, you deserved what? You deserved his answer because of everything you have done to him? Or like, I just wanted to be sure that I had the last word. I think I deserved it. I think I deserved to have the last word. Because when I read it, like when I was processing it, and I was like, she killed him. Right there in that moment, she killed him. There's no way that he was going to say something like that to her, and she was not going to doing something. Or like, then I was like, no, maybe she not killed him, but she surely did something. Maybe with the baby, maybe with him, maybe with herself, but she did something. And that was the proof that their lives were going to be miserable until the end. And I really liked it. Anyway, I already talked too much. Would I still recommend it in 2025? Absolutely. I think this book is brilliant in his many facets, in his different levels, and I just think Gillian Flynn is one of the best authors we have nowadays, and I truly want her to write more books. I think this is also a great book for people who are maybe being introduced to this mystery thriller genre. I started reading thrillers with Gone Girl, so I'm really proud that I started my journey with Gone Girl. I think this really changed my life in a way of being one of the best books that I would ever had read. So yeah, thank you so much if you stayed until the end. This was, as I said, it was supposed to be, like me pretending that I'm talking with a friend about it. So I think you like this format of me just being crazy about a book and mentioning quotes and reading it with you and sharing my thoughts and etc. That's it. Thank you all for being and staying here until the end, and I see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.